Everett O'Keefe here from Ignite Press, and I'm excited today to introduce you to a new author, a new book, and this has been a fun journey because I'm bringing to you today a story of an introvert who has knocked on thousands of doors in his pursuit of his real estate business, and it's pretty incredible. It's a great story. And I want to bring on with us here Stephen Ross, the author of the new book, Doors Open When You Knock, A Realtor's Handbook for Boundless Opportunity and Freedom. So Stephen, why don't you come on? How are you doing today?
Well, as my old mentor said, I never seen a day I like better, but I say that every day.
I love it. I love the positive attitude. We were talking a few minutes ago just about what a crazy day this is, the day of your book launch. So here you are, your book is on Amazon, it's on Kindle. And by the way, anybody can pick it up right now, the Kindle version for 99 cents. Here it is, your book's on Amazon, and this is a culmination of a journey, right? It's been quite a journey to get to this point.
That would be an understatement. And I think, right, isn't that true for any undertaking, any book, any project? But when I think back to the very first time, this is not a book, if someone's, should I buy this book? I want to start door knocking. Should I buy this book? Well, yeah, please buy the book. But it's not a how-to on how to door knock. But it is my journey on knocking on doors. And I never forget, and when I got my real estate license in 2005, my coach came on. I met this coach and he said, knock on heads, knock on doors, pick one. I said, this guy's crazy. I'm never knocking on doors. And then a couple months later, I realized I needed more people to talk to in my real estate business. This is when I was in California. And I started knocking on doors, and I was terrified and terrible and lousy. And but the difference was I didn't quit. I just kept going. So to say it's a journey is an understatement, because when I knocked on those first doors, I had no idea that 16 years later, I would have written a book and I'd be here with you.
Chris, by the way, says, hooray, Stephen, you're on social media. Now you're officially outed. That's the other thing.
That is a problem for me. Yeah, I don't do social media. I don't do anything public. Unless someone brings me in to do an event or training, those I can do, but like other stuff, no.
I was gonna say, this is pretty public. Putting your book up on the world's largest bookstore, so it's now available internationally.
Yes,
that's a fairly public act. If you're watching, by the way, we certainly welcome your comments. If you have questions for Stephen, please put them in the chat log, and I will try to feed them in. I guess I should also put up this cute little banner that you can pick up the book right now on Amazon, or you can also use that link to do that. So that is all available. Oh, Malia says she just got her copy. Congratulations, Stephen. So let's ask you, tell me about the impetus behind this book, Doors Open When You Knock. What gave you the idea of, I need to write this book, and this is what this book is going to be about?
I'm going to share something that I shared earlier today with some other folks, and this is not in the book, although I could have opened the book this way, because some people might be listening to this and they're not real estate agents, and so they may wonder if this applies to them. And so the explorer Ernest Shackleton in the early 1900s was on an Antarctic expedition on a ship called the Endurance, which did not endure. It was broken up by ice. But the posting for help, for he needed men to go on this journey with him. This is what it said. Men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return, doubtful. And then it skipped a line and said, honor and recognition in case of success. And I have that hanging from my desk for a long time, because that's what real estate's like. And I think probably that's what writing a book's like. That's what any business is like. There's a lot of cold, dark, no money, stress, whatever you want to phrase it, and you just never know, should you pack it in or should you keep going? And the one thing I didn't do was quit. I just kept going. And so this book really is saying it captures or records my journey would not be true, because it's written in a way, yes, it was written for me, but it was written for someone who's coming along on a path. And how do you stay on the path? Well, this is how you stay on the path.
So you wrote this as a realtor's handbook. I mean, a handbook for realtors, you say, for boundless opportunity and freedom. So clearly the idea here is that people involved in the real estate industry would get a hold of this book. What do you really want them to take away from it? Because and then Chris also added this question: knock on heads, knock on doors, pick one. And she was wondering if you could elaborate on that. So there's two questions. You can pick whichever one you want.
Well, the knock on heads, knock on doors is an easy one. This is a contact sport. Most businesses need sales, and so you've got to figure out how you're going to talk to people. So if I'm an antisocial person, I'm an introvert, I don't do parties, I don't do open houses, I don't do any of that stuff. So I didn't have anyone to talk to, really. I mean, I did, but I didn't. So I needed to go out and knock on doors and to find more people to talk to. And so that's what I mean by that. But your question, Everett, was, what are people going to get out of it? And I think the biggest thing that people can take away is the faith or resilience or the perseverance or the grit to keep on going when it doesn't feel very safe, comfortable, or even maybe if it's the right path. Because mostly we want things now, because that's kind of how our world's set up. Like, this is instant, right? You and I are not in the same state, and we're doing this, and there's people from all over the country who can tune in, right? Everything's instantaneous. But when we start a business or when we write a book, there is no immediate gratification. There is no immediate success. And so what people can take away is the comfort in that this takes time.
Yeah. Think about the nature of the industry in real estate, and it's hard, as you and I have discussed in the past. A very small percentage of real estate agents are highly successful, and there are so many people out there trying to do it, and getting overwhelmed by too much time. Right? You're always on, like you say on the back of your book. He says, you're still left with the following problems: no time off, always on call, stressed about where the next commission's coming from, wondering if you're going to get where you think you should be, being overwhelmed with too much to do, and worrying about things outside your control. Right? That's the never-ending life of somebody, not just in real estate sales, but in commission sales in general. Right? There are lots of industries, I think, that these things are the case. But you've built a very successful business, and you're not doing open houses. I mean, I thought you had to do open houses. And you're not available 24/7. I mean, I thought you had to be available 24/7. And so
don't call me on a Sunday. I'm not going to answer the phone.
I love that. So, okay, you want to share with us some of the secrets of how you have structured your life?
I mean, I think everyone has to decide what's most important for them. And when I was 25, and now I'm about twice that age, when I was 25, working hard and working lots of hours was a badge of honor. But once I had kids, I realized that wasn't so important. And so I'm not here to tell someone that they shouldn't work weekends or you shouldn't work a lot of hours. I'm just saying, and what I'm saying in the book is you get to choose, especially if you're going to run your own business, real estate, if you're a mortgage lender, title rep, if you're network marketing, for any entrepreneur where you actually have to go out and generate sales every day. You have to decide how much your time is worth, because that's really our most valuable asset. And real estate is notorious for this 24/7 mentality. And many agents, not all, many agents advertise that as a competitive advantage. And I don't think that's a competitive advantage at all. No offense to the people that do it. I just don't think it is. And what's the point of making lots of money if you don't get time off to either spend it or do something with it? And that's kind of what I learned very early on in the business, is when I got to choose. And I got in the business for a very specific reason. I wanted to stay home with my family. I didn't want to travel anymore. Didn't want to work 15-hour days. I didn't want to commute 3 hours a day. I didn't want to do any of that stuff. I wanted to be home. And this was one way to do that.
Yep. Would you be, you talk about in your book that there are some real estate myths. And so one of them is myth number one: your goal should be to make $1 million. And myth number two: whatever top producers say is gospel. Do you want to elaborate on either of those?
I mean, they kind of go hand in hand. I mean, I have a lot of very good friends and a lot of great agents who make 7 figures. So there's nothing wrong with making 7 figures. And if you live in a city like Los Angeles or even Denver, which is where I am, or New York or San Francisco, right, you can sell 10 or 15 houses and make $1 million. And it sounds kind of easy. And if you live in, I don't want to make any city wrong by picking a city that has a lower average sales price, but fill in another city, and you have got to sell a lot more homes. You got to work really, really, really hard, or build a team. And so maybe making $1 million selling real estate shouldn't be your goal. I'm not saying it should, but maybe it's not, just because someone said it was. And then the second thing is, and Seth Godin talks a lot about this, just because someone's really good at what they do doesn't mean they're the best person to teach you what you need to know. The best person to teach you what you need to know to get to the next level for you, it most likely is going to be someone who's an expert at guiding people along, not necessarily guiding them, not necessarily the expert themselves. For example, there's a lot of great coaches. Bill Belichick, whether you like him or not, he's a very well-known, very accomplished football coach. Was he the best football player? Absolutely not. So there's something to be coaching and teaching versus excelling at their skill. And I'm not saying I'm the person people should listen to. I'm only saying people should pay attention to what they put their attention to.
Yeah, it's funny. It reminded me of a saying, if you can't do it, coach it. I've heard that saying before, and I've known some phenomenal coaches that really couldn't necessarily do the things that they were coaching, but they were really great at teaching people how to do it and to bring people along. And you're right. The skill set that is required to be a top producer is not necessarily the skill set required to be a top trainer. So you're right. And yet, of course, there's things to be learned from top producers, right?
100%.
You're right.
100%. And when I look back to when I first got in the business, I used to think about this when I was in Southern California, and there's all these old timers in the office, people who've been around a long time. And what I noticed is they had way more money than the newer agents who were selling 2 and 3 times as much as they were. And that's because they made a consistent income, they invested their money in real estate, and they took the clients they wanted to take and went to the beach or played golf with the rest of their time. And they were less stressed out, more fulfilled. It was just a very early observation, to pay attention to really what's most important.
I think it's a very, very good point. You also bring up another myth that you should grow a big team, that you should create a big team. Speak to that for a second.
I mean, I got into real estate, like I said, because I was in the corporate world and I was in consulting and I was CTO for a medical startup. And I didn't want to manage people anymore. I didn't want complication. I wanted things as simple as possible, which means I didn't want to manage people. And that's a skill that not everybody has. And to run a team effectively, you have got to do a lot of things besides just know how to sell real estate. And I just don't see all of us equally capable or desiring in that skill set. And so some people get into the business, well, I need to grow a big team. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you do not. I don't know. So it's just not, these just things aren't just automatic just because people say them as you should do this. I mean, the only thing you should do is show up every day. That's about it. And talk to people. Everything else is optional.
Yeah, you reminded me, you're also making to spend your time, major on the majors, right? Not on the minors. And that's one of the problems with growing a big team is you'll find yourself majoring on the minors a lot of times. I see this in marketing a lot. I see it in publishing too, where that whole thing about growing a big team is there because I think people get their idea that success looks like me in a big team of people, me sitting on the top of that pyramid, and wow, wouldn't that be amazing? And so many businesses, the second they start getting any resources, start scaling with team. They start adding this person and adding this and adding that and adding that. And pretty soon that person finds himself on the top of a pyramid, but the pyramid has no resources because they're all being expended upon the team. They overgrow the team and then find themselves in a precarious, risky position. So I appreciate what you're saying. And it's funny, we see it here in our business too, where it's that whole thing of, oh, your business needs to grow and be like that. Well, what if I don't want it to be? What if I want it to be something between here and there? And that fits my lifestyle and expectations and my family's needs. It's all a matter of perspective and boundaries.
Yeah. And, look, if there are very good teams out there and they provide an excellent level of service. And so some individuals think, well, in order to compete with those teams, I need to grow my own team so I can compete with service. And I don't see that as the reason to do that. And for the very same reasons, for the very same reason that people do want to work with a team as a client, there's very specific clients who don't want to work with the team. They want to work with their trusted advisor. So if you want to create an advisory business and work with a handful of clients who are loyal, they're collaborative, they entrust you with their life because you're helping them you're buying or selling the place they call home, and that's not insignificant. It's where their memories are shared. It's where they go to bed every night. It's where they wake up every morning. And if they're entrusting you to help make that happen for them, that's a big deal. And some people want someone who's really going to be their trusted advisor. And you can have a very good business building your practice just like that.
Thank you. I want to plug the book. So again, it's available right now on Amazon. In fact, you can pick it up there for 99 cents on the Kindle version. The paperback is also available. Certainly encourage you to pick up your copy today. Doors open when you knock. So Stephen, is there a favorite part of the book that you'd like to share, or a favorite lesson that you'd like to share that we haven't gotten to yet?
This is going to sound absolutely crazy. My favorite part is the acknowledgments section.
Really?
And you might say, well, that's the stupidest thing in the world. Why would someone pick that as their favorite lesson? And I've thought a lot about this. It is the part that gives me the most joy. It is the part that gives me the most joy, because what I realize, real estate is a lonely, lonely, lonely business. This journey that I shared at the beginning, it's lonely, it's cold, it's dark. And when you can remember that you can have people in your life that support you and love you and will help you, whether it's just help you in your business or they just are there to support you when you need a little extra help. That's what helps, I think, get all of us through, any difficult time, because no one needs help on the ups. Everyone can handle when life is great. It's when things don't go so good that we all need a little help, and we forget that those times come and go. And look at 2020. For some people, 2020 was amazing. And for others, and for many people, it was very difficult. And if you don't have a group of people, family, friends, clients, business partners to lean on, it becomes very difficult to make it through.
I think there's some big lessons to be learned there. Absolutely. So, well, I'll tell you what, I just am grateful to have you on. I'm excited about your book. I do have some news to share. Let me do a little quick refresh here on Amazon for checking sales and watching your rankings and stuff like that. So as we sit here right now, I can share that your book is actually the #1 hot new release on Amazon in the category of mortgages. So that is exciting, beating out any other of the latest books there in the process. So I just want to share that with you.
Awesome.
All right. Hey, so we're going to wrap this, but I wanted to thank you for getting this message out. Stephen, is there anything else that you would like to share with viewers, whether they be realtors or otherwise?
Wow, what a softball question, Everett.
I can give you another one if you like, because Chris has this great question about selfies. When did you start taking selfies with your clients? We haven't even gotten to that part. Tell us the story about the door. How many of the doors you've knocked on? How many? And your selfies. Tell us the story, because we
actually let's end with this. This is actually the best. This is the best place to end, because and this is going to take 2 or 3 minutes to tell this story, but it's probably worth telling.
Terrific.
So we're going to go a little long today. And it was February. It was definitely 2017. I was about to knock on my 100,000th door. 100,000th. That's 6 figures. And I was pretty excited. Because I think it was like a Tuesday. I'd finished at 99,900 and I don't know, like 32, 42, whatever. So I knew I could hit 60 doors the next day. That was not going to be difficult. And that night I get home and there's a voice message on my voicemail, and it's some guy from the street I had knocked on that day. Guy wasn't home, but he left a 2-minute message telling me that going door to door was a terrible idea, and leaving information at people's doors was a terrible idea. And actually, and this was the kicker, he spoke to everybody on the block and they agreed with him that they don't want me coming around anymore.
Wow.
Now, I had just spent at that time 12 years of my life knocking on doors, meeting people. And this guy was telling me, stop, no one wants you. And that was a really good reason to quit. And right before this massive milestone. And I remember thinking about it that night, and I'm like, well, that guy just moved in. How does he know everybody on the block? There's no way. And then I thought, well, he may not want me coming around, but there's plenty of people who do want me coming around, who really enjoy the relationships we've met. Obviously, I'd done lots of business as well, but I had met people that really were thrilled when I came by. And that's when I got the idea of the selfies. And there's an app you put on your phone, and so you take the picture with someone, and then you upload it to this app, and then it sends a postcard to the person. And I started doing that, and people were blown away. They just thought it was the coolest thing. But it also reminded me that I don't need to serve everyone. I only need to serve the people who want me to help them. And it just gave me so much more freedom to be at the doors, to be with potential new clients or people who weren't going to work with me, and not take it personally. So that was the story with the selfies. It's been 125,000 doors. And, I just never would have thought that those first doors would have led me here.
125,000. I'm writing that in the chat log. That is substantial. And what a great idea to take selfies with yourself and send it to them, because people, by and large, don't throw away pictures of themselves.
And there's this other do some negotiation work with Chris Voss, and he always says the last impression is the lasting impression. What a great last impression, taking a picture with someone with smiles, and then they get that in the mail, and it's fun, and it's cool, and it's neat.
Yeah, Chris says zoinks. That's right. Well, thank you again, Stephen. Congratulations on your book. We're excited to see how the rest of the launch rolls out for you. Really excited to see how that ranks on Amazon. We're grateful for your time. We're grateful for your work in bringing this here. I'm grateful for the team of people that brought you to this place. You credited Kathy Fyock in your book, and some others that were involved along the way, and we're grateful for all of those people's involvement. So again, just as a wrap up, the book is available now. You can pick it up on Amazon for 99 cents on the Kindle version, or you pick up the paperback version. I think it's $19.95 or something like that. But you can go grab that. Thanks again for joining us today, and Stephen, take care, and we'll see you soon. I'm gonna have some updates for you with your book launch later today. I'm sure of it.
Great, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.